Okay. I just want to warn you before we start this video, it's going to be very deep. We're going to get very personal. So some of the things that I'm about to tell you may be hard to hear, but all I ask is that you listen with an open mind and treat me with the same respect that you would wish for yourself. Okay. So I have done a lot of debating if this is something I even want to share, because a lot of people, even in my personal life, don't know this. So why not share it on the internet, right? I'm so ridiculous. What am I doing? It seems like every single day something absolutely awful happens, and it's like I'm living in a nightmare, and I have to be honest with you, I'm not doing very well. I am now having days where I am in so much pain I can't get up out of bed, and I have never experienced this before in my life. I have never felt so mentally drained that I couldn't get up out of bed, even after all of the other things that have happened to me in my life that may appear worse. I feel the worst that I've ever felt in my life. I tried filming this video yesterday and I had so much anxiety and I kept forgetting things, and so we're giving it another try today. I'm also trying to be very sensitive with a lot of the things I speak about because it involves people in my life, people I care about, and they're going through their own struggles too. Some of them have given me permission to speak about them. So if you've been watching me, you know about my sister and how she's mentally ill, how she gets an affective disorder. I'm probably not saying it right. It's bipolar and schizophrenia mixed. A couple weeks ago, she attacked my parents. The police came. She ended up having to go to the psych ward. That's what normally happens in these incidents. She had gotten out of the hospital, and my parents said that she couldn't stay there anymore because it wasn't safe for them. You have to look after yourself too, you know. And it's sad because she refuses to take her medicine. We have been trying to help her for probably the last 10 years, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. There was times when there was hope, but now I can honestly say that I don't think there is. So she contacted an old friend of hers to see if she could stay with them, and they said that she can sleep on the floor in their living room for $300 a month. It's in a very bad part of town, okay? It's not a part of town that I would recommend anybody living in. So my sister gets out of the hospital, and 2 days later, she gets mugged and beaten up, like severely beaten up. Like eyes are black, lips split open, and she claims she doesn't really have any memory of it. Anyways, she got to come to my parents' house for dinner last week when I was there, and I got some video footage of her, and we talked about it, and she wanted to share this. She doesn't look good, she looks scary. You know, I feel like she's gonna die soon, to be honest with you. I think that this is important to hear. I want you to hear this, I want you to watch this. I think it's very insightful for mental illness. And I just wanna say that, yes, I am talking about like really awful things, and I do laugh. It's just like a nervous habit of mine. No, I don't think it's funny. It's just like how I cope with it. Instead of crying, I laugh. That's just a bad habit of mine. So don't think in any way that I am making fun of anybody or thinking that this stuff isn't as serious as it is, because believe me, I feel it every day. Will you explain what happened?
Because there's a lot of stuff happening right now. Okay?
I understand that, but I wanted you to explain.
I already told you I repressed the memory. I don't remember anything. I do not remember at all, okay?
But someone hit you.
Yes. I don't know what happened, okay? And they took my backpack, and they took my iPhone. And I had my headphones for some reason.
I want to know the night the police came when you pushed Beeve out of the chair in the kitchen and grabbed his cane, and you locked him out of the house.
Okay, what was the question? I remember now.
Why did that happen? Why did you do that?
Okay, Subby did it. It was something Subby just went bam. I don't know.
And Subby is your
subconscious mind. Yes.
Okay.
And it has ability to hold.
But it's kind of like another being that tells you what to do.
It's actually not another being that it doesn't tell Kanshi what to do. It does things on its own. So it's not like you send a message to Kanshi.
I don't understand what that means.
it is hard to understand. It's hard to understand what you're thinking and your misconception about the situation versus my misconception about the situation and everything. It takes a long time to think about that, actually.
So you're telling me that evening,
Yeah.
subby, your subconscious.
Yes. It was actually it indicates that it was part of the plan or something I was supposed to do.
A plan. Why do you have a
Yes.
plan?
Okay. I'll tell you what happened. What was your question about that? Do you have a question about
Why did you do it?
Okay, that was because I decided that Beeb was the weakest link in the house.
That doesn't
That
make
needed
sense.
to be eliminated. We should just eliminate
That needed to be eliminated.
Yeah.
Eliminated,
I'm
like-
not going to do anything. I don't. That's not a threat. Okay.
Like death?
That's not a threat.
Okay. Doesn't it concern you if you do something that people feel like they need to call the police about?
Kristen,
That maybe
that was
that's...
actually something I didn't like. Okay, I didn't actually think that was a good thing to do. And that was something that was kind of annoying that Subby did that. Okay.
Why did you feel like you had to do it?
I didn't feel like I had to do it, Kristen. Subby did it. Okay. Understand?
No.
Okay, because the brain is wired differently. Subby did it. Conchi did not do it. I did not.
So you
an
have
idea,
two
but
different-
I was not thinking about that before I did that. When something like I'm like, okay, listen, okay, let me calm down for a second.
I want to know why
Okay.
you would just take drugs from a random homeless person and do them.
Because the psyche needs them. And my guides actually point out I could do meth one more time.
Let's hear it. Let's me just break down from my understanding.
Yes.
You had to move out of here, so you moved in with a friend.
Yes.
You're sleeping on their couch.
I'm not sleeping on their couch, sleeping on a mattress.
Okay, you're sleeping on a mattress.
Yes.
Okay, you went on public transportation.
Is there something wrong with public transportation?
I'm breaking down what
Okay,
happened.
Yeah.
You went on public transportation. A guy offered you meth and you did it.
Yes.
Okay. In a
I
couple
am familiar with the effects of meth. I'm not going to become addicted to it, Kristen.
Okay, a couple
Yeah.
hours later, when you were coming back home, you were just walking and somebody came up
I
behind
don't
you.
remember the situation, Kristen. I don't remember how it started. I don't remember what happened.
Are you afraid of what's going to happen to you if you have nowhere to live and you're on the street?
Okay. Yes, I am. But I try not to be afraid. I try to solidify the belief that something good is going to happen. It's not solidified yet.
Okay.
I'm also worried about saying things out loud because every time I say something weird, everyone goes, ah. And maybe it's not what's going on. And I also know that this is a situation that's tricky. Very tricky situation with what everyone's thinking right now. And it's bothersome and weird.
Do you worry you're going to come back into contact with the person that attacked you?
No.
Do you feel bad at all that you have put our parents in a situation where they feel like there's no hope and they're scared of you?
I am wondering, not that question. I'm wondering if they feel bad they put me in that situation, Kristen. Okay.
You don't think that because you stopped taking your medication that maybe this is the result of what's happened without taking it?
Exactly, I don't think that. Okay, I don't think that.
Can you tell the difference between when you're on your medicine and when you're not?
It's not that easy to see, actually.
So there was that. Then, so like, the problem is that I have to explain so much backstory to things in order for things now to make sense. So there is a guy named Justin. He's the guy who had creatures, you know, Ash, the cat that I was taking care of. I don't have the creature back. And I'm not sure I'll ever see him again. I'm starting to feel like I'm not going to. And I've asked a couple times and I don't know what's going on. I've known Justin like 13 to 15 years. I'm not sure exactly how long. And I have always loved him. Justin is my love. And a little backstory to make things a little bit more sense. He went to prison for 6 years and he was gone for a while, and I was like the only person there for him. And we became very close, and I thought we were going to get married and all that kind of stuff. And he had planned to come to my house and live when he got out of prison. Well, I had started seeing Lion. I had met Lion, you know, during the time that Justin was away. And when people are gone for a long time like that, you start forgetting who they are. And they start behaving differently. And so he just started not seeming like himself, and I didn't, you know, he started doing some odd things, which was expected. I expected this to happen. But after a while, it's just so painful and draining for me, you know. You're paying for the phone calls. They want you to put money on their books. They want you to send them pictures all the time. You know, you're like their outside life for them. You're like, you have to be their life, and it's a huge responsibility, and it can be very expensive. Anyways, we ended up like not talking for a while, and I ended up meeting Lion. And you know, I didn't date Lion in the beginning. You know, he was married or about to get married to somebody that took care of him in prison. And you know, when you're dating somebody like Lion or somebody like Justin, like, you know, very good looking, well-dressed guys that have like an outgoing personality, you know, which is my type of guy, by the way. So when I first met Lion, it wasn't really possible for us to be together at the time because I was in my situation and he was in his situation, and it was just very awkward and very weird, and it was very like sneaking around type stuff, you know what I mean? And we always knew we wanted to be together, and for a while I didn't think it was ever going to happen because he went to Vegas and he said he was never coming back, and I thought that was it. And then 4 years later he comes back into my life, and he comes back to Portland. Anyways, when he was in Vegas, he ended up doing some prison time, and he had seen a girl out there and he got her pregnant, and she had had his son while he was in prison, and then she was on drugs and got the kid taken from her, and the kid was put in foster care, and then the kid ended up getting murdered by the foster parent, and now it's a huge lawsuit in Vegas. So that's the short version of that. There's a whole lot of moral issues behind that with, do you really want to accept money from your murdered son's situation? Like, I don't know if I could live with that. But you know, it was kind of a rocky situation with Lion because he was talking to her, and she's in Vegas and she's trying to be with him, and then he's supposed to be with me, and then the lawsuit situation, and so he thinks he's going to make a bunch of money off of it. I don't think so. All right, so this was something I wasn't sure I was going to share, but I'll just do it because it needs to be said to make sense for the rest of the story. So he had insisted, because she was so traumatized and dealing with this lawsuit, that she needed to come out here and stay with us in my house. I'm like, great situation. I'm very nice. I'm very, you know, I cook dinners, I'm kind, you know, and a lot of people take advantage of me because of my kindness. And that's frustrating because it's just who I am. So she started getting a little nasty with me. She wouldn't leave the house, they wouldn't leave, and I said she had to get out of here, and we left on bad terms. She took off, both of them took off to Vegas, and I was left here by myself. So it looks like he left me to go be with her, right? But he didn't want to lose the lawsuit money, so he says. So we lost contact there for a couple weeks, and then I started feeling funny, and I found out I was pregnant. And I didn't know how I was going to deal with it because I'm all by myself and I have no way of contacting him. And I had tried sending her messages on her phone saying I need to talk to him, but she wouldn't let me talk to him. Like, great, now I have to make a decision if I'm going to have a child by myself, unexpectedly. And I don't know if I can do that, but then it's like, what's the alternative? And I had to tell my mom, and it was the worst reaction ever. I hope no mother ever sends the messages to their daughter after telling them they're pregnant that my mom sent me. But anyways, I went to the doctor, got it confirmed, and then my mom wanted me to not have the child, kept telling me not to have the child. So the funny thing is, as soon as I got home, a phone call comes in from Vegas, and it's Lion. I swear, like, my life is a movie or I'm in an HBO TV series, and I'm looking around for the hidden cameras, and the only camera I see is this one. And I told him, and he dropped the phone and had a panic attack and said he immediately is going to come out here. So I got him a one-way ticket out here, and we were trying to figure out what to do, but he was already traumatized from everything else. And then I find out that she is pregnant too. So we're both pregnant with his kid. Then there was just a lot of arguing and a lot of issues about what to do because everyone's under so much stress, and I have a miscarriage. It's a pretty bad situation having a miscarriage. Lasted all day. I was passing out of consciousness. I lost a lot of blood. And We won't get into all of that. Then, probably about 6 or 7 days later is when the police situation happened with the SWAT team that I've told you about. Now, I think a lot of the reason why Lion went drinking at the bar across the street is because he was upset about the miscarriage, even though he told me he didn't want to have a child. But then after I have the miscarriage, he does. Explain to me that when men, and you know the whole thing about the guys coming over here in the fight and he locking Lion in the garage and the guy coming at me and then the guy getting punched in the face and the SWAT team coming, and next thing you know, you have to understand, I have the pregnancy hormones running through my system like crazy. Like, I have never felt this insane in my life. And it's the pregnancy hormones. And I'm gonna let men know right now, what I learned from being pregnant is that the hormones are so insanely strong. Any woman that tells you she doesn't want a child is going to want to have the child, because the hormones trick your mind to thinking you want something that you always said you didn't want. So if you're wondering why their mind changes, it's because the hormones are so crazy. And if I didn't experience that for myself, I would not have believed it. I'm recovering from a miscarriage. I'm dealing with a fight that happened in my house. I'm dealing with the SWAT team. And I'm like it's like I'm in a whole different realm or different, it's like nothing's real. It feels like I'm in a movie. It triggered me. The police triggered me so hard, okay? And I just asked them for a search warrant to enter my house, and they didn't give me one. I never got a search warrant. So they were, they kept bringing more and more and more cops, more and more of them. Eventually I went outside to the garage, you'll see the video footage of it, and they arrested me. Then they kicked in the door through the garage. Found Lion upstairs in one of the bedrooms, which I didn't know he was hiding in the closet. I did ask him, I have so much stuff packed in my closet with all my clothes and stuff. I'm not gonna dig everything out and throw it all over the place, Next thing I know, I'm facing felony charges because apparently going against the police is called hindering prosecution, and that is a felony. I have no criminal history whatsoever, okay? So now I'm dealing with planning, seeing if I'm gonna have a kid or not, okay? Dealing with his ex-girlfriend possibly having his kid too, then having a miscarriage, then having the police swarm my house, then getting arrested, and then facing felony charges. Anyways, so I dealt with that, and then a month later, I'm still dealing with all that. And then Justin gets out of prison and wants to come here and start his life with me. Great timing, right? And I'm going, okay, I'm really overwhelmed. Now I have to help this person that I love, who I had planned on marrying, out of prison from 6 years. We haven't really seen each other in years. I mean, we hadn't seen each other in 6 years. And now I don't know how he's gonna act out of prison. And now I have to be his strength and help him with the world now, how things have changed, and be his support, when I can't even do it for myself. When I don't even know what's gonna happen with me. And, then I'm supposed to technically be with Lion, but then I have this, and then they put a no contact order between me and Lion. So I can't even talk to him about anything that's going on. So I'm trying to recover from this miscarriage. Can't talk about it. I can't, and then that was the only person that could help me with this closure, was the father of the to-be child that I lost. So Justin gets out and he brings his mom over here, and it was like, I felt the excitement of him coming out, and I did everything I could to try to be that person, and it was the first time in my life that I was so traumatized and so stressed out that I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. It was like I had reached my limit of pain and suffering and trauma that I couldn't even mentally force myself. And I've always considered myself to be a very strong person. I had a lot of breakdowns. I was collapsing from stress. I was having flashbacks. And Justin was witnessing this the whole time when he's dealing with his own situation. I'm sure he thought I was crazy, that I had lost my mind, and that this was who I really was, because he hadn't seen me in years. So after being here a couple months, and he was so nice, and I felt so bad because being around him again, I started realizing how much I really love him, and that this is who I want to be with and not lying. And then he takes off on me because I was apparently being too emotional, and I don't know everything he was thinking. I don't know how men think. And I was still having to go to court appearances and lawyer meetings, and I'm still facing all these things, not knowing the answers myself or what to do. It wasn't until after Lyon's trial, which was months later, and I found out that Lyon was going to prison for 7 years. You know, I had to stand up in front of a courtroom and with a jury and speak. It wasn't until after that, it was like the fog that had been around my mind went away, because I knew the outcome. Even though it was bad, I needed those answers before I could move on. And it was like in that moment, I realized I lost Justin. And I don't know why I didn't realize it before. And then it was like I was going through heartbreak. So ever since then, I have been trying to get Justin back. And I've been apologizing for things that weren't even in my control. I don't know why he doesn't understand what I went through. And maybe men can't understand that stuff. I don't know. So when he went to jail for his situation, he was away for 4 months, and then I found that as an opportunity for me to try to reconnect with him, because before we really got to know each other when he went to prison with phone calls and letters, and I was trying to reconnect with him to remember who I am. So I was making sure he had a letter every week, he had pictures, he had money on his phone, he had money on his books, and I thought we were really going to be something here. And so I was doing everything I could to show him that I am not this traumatized person that you saw. And I thought he was really getting it. But of course, he already had gotten involved with another girl. So now I'm hoping that my relationship with him was stronger and better than hers. So I have been struggling ever since. Well, I wasn't planning to do all that, but I did, didn't I? It's just what I'm struggling with, and in some weird way I felt like I need to share it with somebody, because people just don't understand, and I'm in so much pain. It's just getting worse, and I don't know what's going to happen next, and it's not looking too good. And there was other things I was going to share with you, but I decided that we'll just stick with this for now. We'll just stick with this for now. Well, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. It would help me out quite a bit as I'm trying to do this YouTube thing, as you can see. Well, remember to always have patience with people, because you never know what they're going through, because we are all going through something. All right, wild animals. I will see you next time. All right, I'm gonna try to film this again. And I'm getting a phone call. Hold on, I can't even get anything done.